Treasure hunts are something that both young and old can enjoy. While most people find no more than a few bucks in a parking lot at any one time, others are a little more fortunate. From 80 million year old T-Rex bones to parts of a still missing plane, here are 15 of the most amazing treasures found on the beach. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. That being said, let's begin. Number 15. Pearl Jackpot. If you're not that well informed on what it takes to form a pearl, then seeing one on a beach may make you think that some poor grandma's lost her prized jewelry. The truth is, some of the most amazing treasures are naturally forming, and the pearl is one of them. So why can it be so expensive? Well, the process of getting a pearl is not as straightforward as you might think. In the wild, a mollusk will form a pearl when something that irritates it enters its soft tissue. It wants to protect itself, so it will cover it with mother of pearl, a material it also uses to form its shell. In many cases, the mollusk will try and eject the pearl because it doesn't want it in its body. Sometimes it's successful, and sometimes it's not. It won't form a pearl, or disease will kill it off. So getting a pearl from every mollusk, be it in the wild or in captivity where technicians will intentionally plant irritants, does not have a 100% success rate. To find one on a beach, even though they are naturally occurring, is quite extraordinary. And, like diamonds, they are graded on quality to reflect their value. A perfectly round, smooth, and evenly colored pearl is worth more than one that's a bit rough, oddly shaped, or imperfect. The next time you head to the beach where mollusks are present, be on the lookout for pearls. You could be in the money. Number 14. $10,000 with a metal detector. It's always a nice feeling when you spot a $1 note on the ground in a parking lot. Even finding a nickel can make your day. But Golden Relic Hunter 1958, a YouTuber with over 20,000 subscribers, truly hit the jackpot with his find. On a hot day at the beach, the unnamed Australian man had spent hours searching for something of interest with his metal detector. He had come up empty-handed with every step he took. But finally, his luck was about to change. He walked with his metal detector to a small patch of seaweed and discovered a sandy, rusty old mason jar that looked like it had been washed in with the tide. As he inspected the closed jar, he found what looked like a $50 Australian note pressed flush against the bottom. If that wasn't exciting enough, he gently opened the jar to reveal a massive wad of cash. After counting it off video, he claimed in the video that there was $10,000 in the jar. Many people were quick to point out that the jar looked staged, but it's hard to fake the rust and thick buildup of sand on it. It's also not known whether he kept the money or handed it in to authorities. Number 13. Very old coins. Most people go metal detecting for fun as a pastime, but rarely come up with anything other than a few rusty tin cans. They certainly won't help you pay for the cost of buying or hiring a metal detector in the first place. But this haul of coins by a YouTuber with over 20,000 followers, Golden Relic Hunter 1958, could make every single outing to the beach worthwhile. The Australian man had been at the beach for some time, slowly scanning the sand with his metal detector. It started beeping, and he was able to isolate the area in which there was something worth finding. As he scraped away the sandy surface, he found the lid to a box. He then found the box itself, and what was inside shocked him. There were around 50 coins within that looked like they had been washed up on the shore. The box was filled with sand, and he had to scrape it off the coins to see what they were. Some appeared to be of Spanish descent. The man never said what he did with them or whether he spoke to any experts, but it was certainly a successful day at the beach, and he sure did discover some amazing treasures. Number 12. Florida teen finds $1,500. $1,500 can buy you quite a lot, even in this day and age. It's enough to get you a fairly well-used car, or it could even take you on holiday. But one teenager didn't think twice about handing a sum of money he found to police, even if it meant he didn't get to dream about what he would do with it. 14-year-old Billy Reed, a 9th grader from Palm Beach Day Academy, had been on a charity walk for autism with the Teen Golf Association. As he walked, he looked down at the sand and discovered a half-buried $100 bill. At first, Billy thought it was a prank. As videos have shown before, there could have been a fishing line attached to it and someone would pull it away when he went to grab it. But when he picked it up, he realized that wasn't the case, and there wasn't just $100. There was $1,500. He held it up to his face and looked around to see if anyone had dropped it or would claim it. A lady said to him, "What the heck just happened? How did I not see that?" Billy was sure many people would likely keep that sum of money if they found it, but he never thought about it. All Billy knew was that if he were in that situation where he lost $1,500, he'd want someone to hand it in and give him a chance to get it back. So instead of thinking about all the cool electronic devices and things he could buy, he found a Juno Beach police officer and handed it over. Even if he didn't get to keep it, Billy will always remember the time he found $1,500 on a beach. Number 11. Oldest letter in a bottle. The Illman family from Western Australia found themselves in a bit of a predicament when their vehicle became stuck in the sand on a beach north of Wedge Island in 2018. While they waited, Tanya Illman and her friend decided to go for a walk. That walk would prove to be the best decision they ever made. The pair spotted a lot of rubbish on the beach, so to pass the time, they set about picking some of it up. One of those items was an old bottle that Tanya thought would look nice on her bookcase. She passed it to the girlfriend of her son, and she noted that there appeared to be what looked like a rolled cigarette in it. When they tipped it out, they noticed the paper was tied with a string. However, it was damp due to the missing cork in the bottle and damp sand, so they took it home, dried it in the oven, and gently unrolled it. At the time, they had no idea they had just discovered the oldest known message in a bottle. The message was dated June 12, 1886, and it was handwritten with the name of a ship, Paula. It had been jettisoned from a German ship as part of an experiment with the German Naval Observatory. The message said to contact the German consulate upon finding the note. The Illmans weren't convinced that the message in the bottle was not a hoax, but they researched the bottle, then took it to the Western Australian Museum experts. WA Museum Assistant Curator of Maritime Archaeology, Dr. Ross Anderson, confirmed it was authentic. He even consulted with experts in the Netherlands and Germany to check. During these checks, Dr. Anderson managed to find the original meteorological journal for the boat, Paula, which included a message to say they had thrown a bottle overboard. The handwriting matched that of the note in the bottle. The Illman family loaned the bottle and note to the WA Museum to keep it on display. Number 10. World War II Love Letters. The day after Hurricane Sandy ripped through New Jersey in 2012, a mother and son, Kathleen Cheney and Patrick, 14, were walking along the beaches of Sandy Hook Bay. Patrick discovered a small box containing 57 love letters tied with a ribbon. It looked like it had washed up during the storm. They took the box home and dried the notes one by one in front of the fire in their powerless home. The letters were from 1942 to 1948 and were to and from Lynn Farnham and Dorothy Fallon, who looked to be romantically involved. Kathleen said it was evident that Dorothy adored Lynn, and she was hoping to return the letters to their rightful owner. Kathleen and Patrick then played amateur detectives. She visited the return address in Rumson, New Jersey, only to find the original home had been demolished. An ad on Craigslist bore no response. Finally, she found an obituary on findagrave.com with the name Lynn Farnham, who had passed away in 1991. She left a note on the post and got a response from the couple's niece in Virginia. According to the niece, Dorothy was still alive but was 91, in poor health, and living in a senior high-rise building in Asbury Park, New Jersey. She believes the letters may have floated down the Shrewsbury River and into Sandy Hook Bay. The niece was not sure how the letters came to be there, as there was no family of Dorothy in that area, nor did she know who had the letters. Kathleen was happy to find the rightful owner and mailed the letters to the niece. Number 9. 80-million-year-old dinosaur thigh bone. It's official. Meat-eating, ferocious dinosaurs are on the loose in Washington. But before you start panicking and seeking shelter, they aren't anymore, but they may have been about 80 million years ago. Scientists were on the hunt for extinct marine invertebrates with spiral shells known as ammonites, among other fossilized animals. They had their sights on San Juan Island, which was a short ferry journey from the Seattle area. Even though they weren't looking for a dinosaur, they were thrilled when they found evidence of one. The tide was out when they saw a fossilized bone in a marine rock. They contacted paleontologists at the University of Washington who came out with a rock saw to investigate it. Because the rock was so hard, it took a whole day to extract. At that stage, they didn't know quite what they were dealing with, or whether the 18 months they spent preparing the fossil would be worth it. However, it was. They discovered that the bone belonged to a theropod, which was of the meat-eating, two-legged variety. Therefore, it belonged to the group that had members like Velociraptor and T-Rex. The bone was 16.7 inches long, 8.7 inches wide, and around 4 feet long, if it were not broken. They believe the dinosaur had died near the sea and was thrown around in the waves before it slept with the fishes. Literally. Number 8. Ancient Megalodon Tooth. Shark-mad 7-year-old Foster Frazier always said he would find the tooth of a megalodon, an extinct shark that used to grow to around 59 feet long, or 3 times the size of a female great white shark. But kids say the darndest things, and while he might have wanted to find one, no one would expect him to be able to. So when he found one while on his annual shark tooth hunt on holiday with his family at Myrtle Beach, he couldn't believe his eyes. At over 5 inches long, it was undeniably the tooth of a megalodon rather than a smaller great white. When Foster first saw the tooth, it looked like a rock, but once he washed it and removed the sand, he knew that what was sticking out from the side of a bank was no other than a megalodon tooth. Coastal Carolina University marine science professor Daniel Abel said the tooth is millions of years old. Megalodons lived anywhere from 23 million to 2.6 million years ago and were brought to extinction by the warming oceans. According to Foster's parents, he was the best person to find such a treasure. He loves everything about sharks and even has shark clothing and books. The tooth is now on display at the Riverfront Museum in Peoria, Illinois. Number 7. Missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. The story of the missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 gripped the world. For a plane to go missing in this day and age is utterly devastating, but to never find it is a whole new tragedy. To this day, the plane that disappeared with 239 people on board in March 2014 has never been found, but parts of it have been. Johnny Begway initially found a flaperon, which is a wing fragment, in Reunion, a French Indian Ocean island. As the piece had a serial number, it was sent to the French Accident Investigation Bureau, where it received its positive identification as being part of the Boeing 777 that went missing. But 2 years after Johnny made that discovery, he was to find yet another part of the plane. This time, it was a square gray item with a blue border, and it was almost exactly in the same place as the flaperon. The flaperon had barnacles on it when Johnny discovered it, but this square item didn't. It also measured around 15.5 by 15.5 inches and was lying on the stony beach away from the water. Both pieces that Johnny had discovered had the same unique honeycomb texture on the inside. While he can't say for sure if the second piece belongs to the plane, he was reasonably confident. He did, however, say it was up to the experts to make the call. Number 6. Golden chalice worth $1 million. Around a quarter of a century ago, treasure hunters started looking for artifacts thought to have been aboard the 17th century Spanish galleon called Santa Margarita. Even today, that search continues, and experts continue to uncover some fantastic finds. A golden chalice worth over $1 million is one of them. Key West treasure hunter, the late Mel Hunter, great name, was the first person to begin hunting for treasure from the long-lost boat all those years ago. Now, the Blue Water team works in a joint venture partnership with the Fisher family company, Mel Fisher's Treasures, to see what they can find. Blue Water Ventures diver Michael DeMar was the man to discover the $1 million chalice between 1 foot of sand in 18 feet of water. It was found 30 miles west of Key West and was the diver's first find. At first, Michael thought that what he had found was a beer can, but as he kept fanning the sand, he saw a glint of gold and knew it was something much more exciting. The team from Blue Water believes the cup may have been a communion cup and belonged to a wealthy passenger aboard the boat. It measured around 5 inches, had 2 handles, and was in the process of being studied and cleaned. It was an arduous process to remove the white crust that had formed on parts of it. The hope was that once it was cleaned, they would find more details on it, such as an engraving, a crest, or etching to determine its ownership and origin. Number 5. $1 million treasure. It was an extra special birthday for Hillary Schmidt from Sanford after she and her treasure hunter family revealed they had found $1 million worth of treasure off the coast of Florida. The sunken Spanish treasure from a 1715 fleet consisted of 51 gold coins, a 40-foot gold chain, and a coin known as a royal, which was made for King Philip V of Spain. It dates back to 1715 with a price tag of around $500,000. Number 4. Buddha treasure. Two self-proclaimed Indiana Jones wannabes have made an amazing discovery on West Australia's north coast, and if it wasn't for expert confirmation, you wouldn't believe what they had found. Leon Deschamps and Shane Thompson were exploring along the north coast with a metal detector when they found a bronze Buddha figurine thought to date back to the Ming Dynasty between 1350 and 1637. The pair run an aquatic filming company called Fin Films, and they had been working on a recreational film on the French voyage during Napoleon's reign in 1800 to 1804. Part of that film involved treasure hunts for specific equipment supposedly left behind all those years ago. To make sure they got it right, they started doing a few practice runs in public areas. They followed all treasure hunting protocols, such as not detecting on beaches, national parks, or someone else's property. Instead, they headed to least likely spots like Maine's Road Reserve. After digging up a heap of beer cans, the pair were ready to pack it in. However, they were glad they didn't when the detector picked up something significant. They set up the cameras and marked it on the GPS. After digging, they found the Buddha that weighed over 2 pounds, heavy given its size. They reported their find to the WA Maritime Museum and also got in touch with the Chinese ambassador and the Museum of Chinese Australian History. Antique dealers identified it as a Ming Dynasty artifact, and how it got to Australia was anyone's guess. It is thought that it might have come from a Ming treasure voyage to the island in 1421. Number 3. 350 gold coins. Treasure hunting for coins sounds like a fun pastime for kids, or even something you would do in a video game. But it's real life for the Brisbane family of 1715 fleet Queen's Jewels LLC, who spend a significant amount of time looking for sunken treasure. In 2015, Brent Brisbane and his crew found 350 gold coins off the coast of Vero Beach. 9 of the coins were valued at around $300,000, and the total haul value was over $4.5 million. The discovery is not the first in the area, and it won't be the last. The company has the exclusive rights to the 1715 fleet shipwreck, which saw 11 ships lost at sea, 1,000 people dead, and $400 million of jewelry and gold lost in a hurricane. The company was also chuffed to have found the coins on the 300th anniversary of the shipwreck, which made it even more special. The next day was even better, with another 75 coins discovered. The U.S. District Court of Florida owns all the goods, and a percentage goes to the Brisbanes and their contractors. Number 2. Ancient funeral mask. Many people would have heard of the 1715 fleet, which resulted in around $4 billion of treasure lost at sea after a hurricane in 1715. Many approved salvagers have been searching for it ever since, and an ancient funeral mask that washed up on a Florida beach could help them find it. The mask is around 10,000 to 12,000 years old and was found in 2019 on a Melbourne beach in the state's central region. Seafarers Exploration Corporation, one of the companies on the hunt for the treasure, says it forms a link in the debris trail to hopefully find the rest of it. Millions of dollars of treasure have been found so far. The mask is metal and may have been smelted by an ancient American civilization. Its primary material is copper, but it also has gold, silver, and iridium. Iridium is a rare material from meteorites, which means that it may have been taken from a Peruvian tomb by the Spanish to gift it to royalty. Number 1. 8-year-old finds old shipwreck. Some people spend a fair chunk of their adult life looking for shipwrecks and treasure, but an 8-year-old managed to do it in a single morning without any effort. A mother and her son were lounging on the deck of their Ponte Vedra beach rental home when they saw a large piece of wooden debris on the beaches of St. Augustine in Florida. The son was quick to point out that it looked like a wooden ship, and he was right. The pair reported it to the authorities, and archaeologists from the Lighthouse and Maritime Museum came in to investigate. They took measurements and photos as fast as possible in case the 48-foot-long boat decided to wash back out to sea. Maritime historian Brendan Burke said the boat contained copper tack heads, which indicated it once had sheets of copper on it. It also had trunnels, which are wooden pegs, and Roman numerals carved into the boat's ribs. Preliminary evidence dates the ship back to around the 1700s to 1800s. The museum hopes to create a 3D model of it to find out when and where it was built. Treasure hunting can unearth some incredible finds, as you now know. Have you ever found anything crazy, weird, or valuable? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time!